me then. Who's Hayley? Hello, Hayley. My name's Fairy Rose. I'm going to do your party. Would you like to lead your friends into the garden? Don't you all look beautiful? Big fairies as well, and little fairies.
What happens when we separate the sphere of the adult and the child is that childhood comes to be freighted with particular kinds of adult expectations and desires. This means that children are invested with specific kinds of qualities that adults wish to locate in them.
Muitos adultos se sentem excluídos do mundo da magia, das brincadeiras e do faz de conta. Agora, somente na infância, esperamos encontrar esse encanto e essa alegria.
By the power of the fairies, we name you Fairy Blossom. By the power of the fairies, we name you Fairy Stardust.
When childhood is described in this magical, privileged fashion, it has deeply ambivalent and indeed confusing consequences for both adults and children. On the one hand, it releases children to be free, imaginative creatures and places responsibilities upon adults to nurture those positive, privileged qualities that they appear to be identifying. And that has had undoubtedly beneficial effects for the way in which children are treated in our culture. On the other hand, it makes the adult perceive the state of childhood as one which is lost in time and in the structures of adult desire. The adult views the child with a mixture of care and envy.
Whoa! Wow, did you see him feed him? This is a shark that Troy's feeding is a Port Jackson shark.
There are a host of positive attributes associated with being a child, which belong as well to adults. And of course, wonder is one of them. The capacity for wonder, the capacity to be both curious and to inquire, and also to marvel, to enjoy, to feel awestruck. We should have them in a community together. They shouldn't be in some opposition between adults and children. It should be shared between adults and children.
Alguns adultos são atraídos pela noção psicológica popular sobre a criança interior. Eles procuram recuperar a criança criativa, a criança brincalhona e espontânea que já foram ou poderiam ter sido.
When we talk about the internal child or the inner child, that this child is pretty good. It'd be nice to have that child. What if we talked about this child, though, other qualities that we see in children, like unruliness, making a mess all the time, not knowing things that you wish they would know, their emotions flying all over the place, being unreasonable most of the time. Oh, is that what we want? Do we want to incorporate this inner child as well? Well, if we don't, that's an indication that we have idealized and sentimentalized what a child is in order to make it palatable.
Enquanto alguns adultos buscam dentro de si qualidades positivas que associam à infância, outros tentam renovar o modo como veem o mundo, olhando através da visão pura de uma criança.
I think the reason why we seem to be living in a culture that looks out of childlike eyes at everything and which creates all kinds of cultural forms, movies and books and so on, that look at things from a child's point of view. I think the reason is that deep down we want change, that we're living in a played-out civilization, and we obsess about the child as a means of demonstrating to ourselves our profound yearning for something new to happen.
Now, one of the ways that the child's eye view works, I think, is that it places the audience in the position of the child. So it makes the audience feel receptive. It wipes the audience's own experiences. It transports them into the condition of a child themselves. So they feel, as it were, that they're not bringing any of their own evil doings or attitudes. They're wiped clean. It's using the child as a tabula rasa.
Bebês têm se tornado o símbolo de tudo que não é maculado, verdadeiro e puro. Valorizamos essa pureza e a chamamos de inocência.
By innocence of childhood, we mean a number of things. We mean that children are free from many of the constraints and corruptions of adult life and adult perception. We mean that children are vulnerable and sensitive to experience in unique kinds of ways. We mean that children have a freshness of perception about the world, about relationships, that's unencumbered by the expectations that we acquire as we grow and are socialized.
Daqui a pouco, o que está por trás da idealização da infância inocente? Por que algumas crianças cometem atos violentos? Daqui a pouco você vai ver a opinião de especialistas que discutem também a questão do abuso contra menores. Já, depois do intervalo.
No final do século XVIII, escritores românticos como Blake e Wordsworth popularizaram a ideia da criança inocente. Reagindo contra a crença repressiva de que as crianças nasciam em estado de pecado, eles criaram uma visão poderosa da inocência diante do avanço da industrialização, com suas cidades sórdidas e exploração infantil. Este ideal romântico persiste apesar de maior compreensão sobre a complexidade da vida das crianças.
I don't think that children are innocent. I think that adults living in a world that's bifurcated, that's divided, may find innocence in children. And I think especially adults would like to imagine, hope, wish that children are innocent, and then when they become adults, they lose their innocence. But I don't really think that's the case.
Hey, Seal, just giving Mur the hot cross bun so the rabbit inspectors will know which one to take.